Imagine this. Life throws an unexpected challenge your way. Maybe it's an argument, a failure, or bad news. Your mind races, emotions surge, and before you know it, you react. Harsh words, panic, regret. Sound familiar? But what if in that same moment you could pause, breathe, and respond with clarity and calm? No impulsive actions, no unnecessary suffering, just steady, thoughtful control. This is what the Stoics mastered centuries ago, and it's more powerful today than ever. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The difference between reacting and responding can shape your relationships, your success, and your inner peace. Reacting is emotional, reflexive. It often leaves you feeling powerless. Responding, on the other hand, is thoughtful and intentional. It gives you control over your life. But how do you train your mind to make this shift? That's what we're here to explore. Through timeless lessons from ancient Stoicism, you'll learn practical ways to master your emotions and build mental resilience. If this resonates with you, hit that like button. It really supports our small channel. And if you're ready to take your mind to the next level, subscribe and join us on this journey of growth and wisdom. Let's respond to life on our terms. Lesson 1. Master the space between stimulus and response. Life is a series of events, many of which you cannot control. Someone insults you, a plan falls apart, or an unexpected problem arises. In moments like these, your instinct might be to react immediately, perhaps with anger, frustration, or anxiety, but the Stoics teach us that true power lies in the space between stimulus and response. It is in that brief moment, that pause, where you can choose your response. Epictetus put it simply, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When something happens, you have a choice. Will you let the situation control you, or will you control your mind? Reactions are impulsive and often driven by unchecked emotions. Responding, however, involves slowing down, reflecting, and acting with reason. This small shift can change your entire outlook on life. Think about it. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. Your immediate reaction might be frustration, anger at the drivers around you, stress about being late. But what if you paused and reminded yourself, "I can't control this traffic. What I can control is how I handle this moment." You could take a deep breath, listen to music, or reflect on your thoughts. The traffic remains, but your suffering diminishes. Training your mind to respond instead of react is not easy. It takes consistent practice. Start by noticing your triggers. Is it a rude comment from a coworker? A mistake at work? Once you identify these moments, practice pausing. Count to 5, breathe, and ask yourself, what's the best response I can give right now? Over time, you'll find that this practice strengthens your inner peace and resilience. The next time life tests you, remember that moment of pause. It's your superpower. Master it, and you'll master your mind. Lesson 2. Don't let emotions hijack your mind. Emotions can feel overwhelming. Anger, fear, jealousy, and sadness can hit you like a storm, clouding your judgment and pushing you to act in ways you later regret. In these moments, it can seem like your emotions are in control, like you're a passenger in your own life. The Stoics understood this struggle. They didn't believe in repressing emotions, but instead taught that you should observe and manage them before they take over. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about that for a moment. How many times have you exaggerated a situation in your mind, spiraling into worst-case scenarios? Maybe you overthink a small conflict at work, convincing yourself that everyone now hates you. Or perhaps you make a mistake and let self-doubt and fear cripple your confidence. The truth is, your emotions are powerful. but they don't have to dictate your actions. Instead of reacting impulsively, Stoics teach us to step back and separate ourselves from the emotional storm. Visualize your emotions like waves in the ocean. They rise, they crash, and eventually they settle. Your job is not to drown in them, but to ride them with awareness and patience. When you feel anger or fear rising, pause and label it. This is anger. This is fear. By acknowledging the emotion without judgment, you create mental distance from it. You remind yourself that emotions are temporary. They don't define who you are or what you have to do next. Another powerful technique is to focus on your breath. When emotions are heightened, your breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. Taking deep, slow breaths activates the calming part of your nervous system, helping you regain control. The key is to practice emotional awareness daily. The more you observe your mind without getting swept away by your feelings, the stronger your mental resilience becomes. Don't let emotions hijack your mind. Feel them, understand them, but remember, you are always the one steering the ship. Lesson 3. Focus only on what you can control. Life often feels chaotic because so much of it is out of our control. You can't control other people's opinions, the economy, the weather, or even certain outcomes despite your best efforts. Yet most of our stress and frustration come from trying to control these very things. The Stoics believed this was a recipe for unnecessary suffering. Instead, they taught a profound truth. Peace comes from focusing only on what is within your control. Epictetus explained it clearly. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. What is up to you? Your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. What isn't? Other people's behavior, accidents, or random circumstances. When you waste energy obsessing over things outside your control, you drain yourself mentally and emotionally. But when you shift your attention to what you can control, you empower yourself to take meaningful action. Imagine you have an important interview and suddenly hit traffic on the way. You could react by panicking, cursing the cars ahead, or worrying about being late, but none of those reactions will change the traffic. What can you control? Your mindset. Instead of wasting energy on frustration, you could call ahead to explain your situation and use the extra time to rehearse your answers in your head. The situation may not be ideal, but by focusing on your response, you take back control. This principle applies to every area of life. In relationships, you can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond and set boundaries. In your career, you may not always control outcomes like promotions or recognition, but you control your work ethic and attitude. Every day, remind yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Accept what you cannot change and redirect your energy to what you can. Master this mindset, and you'll find a sense of calm and confidence that few people ever achieve. Life is unpredictable, but your inner world doesn't have to be. Focus on what's in your hands and let the rest unfold. Lesson 4. Detach from the need for external validation. We live in a world where approval seems to be everything. Social media likes, compliments, promotions, and recognition often feel like measures of our worth. It's easy to fall into the trap of chasing validation, shaping your life around what others think of you. But Stoic philosophers warned that depending on external praise is a path to unhappiness and instability. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor with the weight of an empire on his shoulders, wrote in his Meditations, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Think about that. We often sacrifice our peace and authenticity just to please others, people whose opinions may change tomorrow. How exhausting is that? The Stoics taught that your value should come from within, based on your character and virtues. They believed that seeking approval from others gives them power over you. If someone praises you today, you feel great. If they criticize you tomorrow, your self-esteem crumbles. You're on a roller coaster controlled by opinions you cannot control. True strength comes from detaching yourself from this need for approval. This doesn't mean you should become cold or indifferent to others. It's natural to appreciate positive feedback. The key is not to depend on it. Ask yourself, am I living according to my own principles? Am I doing my best? If the answer is yes, then outside opinions, good or bad, should hold little weight. You are not defined by others' praise, nor are you diminished by their criticism. Detaching from validation doesn't mean you stop caring about doing good work. In fact, you'll likely perform better when you aren't weighed down by the fear of judgment. You'll take risks, speak your mind, and stay true to yourself. This inner freedom is one of the greatest gifts Stoicism offers. Start practicing this today. When you catch yourself seeking approval, pause and ask, whose standards truly matter here? Others or mine? Choose to live by your own values. That's where true peace begins. Lesson 5. Embrace discomfort as a path to growth. Most people try to avoid discomfort at all costs. Whether it's physical pain, emotional challenges, or difficult tasks, we often seek the path of least resistance. But the Stoics believed that avoiding discomfort keeps us weak and stagnant. Real growth, they taught, comes from willingly facing challenges and enduring hardship with courage and discipline. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show a person's character, so when trouble comes, think of yourself as being tested, like an athlete in training." The Stoics saw life as a training ground. Just as an athlete strengthens their body by pushing through pain, we strengthen our mind and spirit by embracing discomfort instead of running from it. Think of a time when you faced something tough, maybe learning a new skill, dealing with loss, or confronting a fear. It probably wasn't pleasant, but it shaped you. You became more capable, resilient, and self-aware. Now imagine if you had avoided that situation entirely. You wouldn't have gained those lessons or that inner strength. Stoicism encourages us to see discomfort as a necessary part of becoming our best selves. This doesn't mean seeking suffering for its own sake. Rather, it's about recognizing that many worthwhile things, success, mastery, self-discipline, require effort and perseverance. Avoiding discomfort might feel good in the short term, but it leads to long-term regret. For example, you might avoid exercising because it's hard, but over time you'll suffer the health consequences. You might avoid difficult conversations, but it'll damage your relationships. To practice this lesson, start small. Take a cold shower. Sit with your emotions instead of numbing them with distractions. Or push yourself to do something you've been avoiding. Over time, you'll realize that discomfort isn't the enemy, it's a teacher. Each time you face it head-on, you expand your capacity to handle life's challenges with grace and strength. The Stoics knew that comfort is fleeting, but true fulfillment comes from embracing life's difficulties. As Seneca put it, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Discomfort is not something to fear. It's the forge where your best self is created. Lesson 6. Let go of the past and future. Live in the present moment. Our minds have a habit of dragging us away from the present moment. We replay past mistakes, regrets, and missed opportunities, wishing we could change what's already done. At the same time, we worry endlessly about the future, imagining all the ways things could go wrong. But the Stoics understood that this obsession with the past and future robs us of peace and clarity. They urged us to focus on the only thing we truly have, the present moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not let your mind be enslaved by the past or alarmed by the future. Concentrate on the present, for that is where your power lies." You can't rewrite the past, nor can you control every aspect of the future. What you can control is how you act and think right now. The present moment is where your choices happen. It's where life unfolds. But if you're mentally stuck elsewhere, you miss it entirely. Think about how often your mind wanders. Maybe you're with loved ones, but instead of being fully present, you're lost in thoughts about work or some past argument. You might sit down to relax, but instead of enjoying the moment, you're stressing about next week's deadlines. This mental tug-of-war drains your energy and keeps you from truly experiencing life. The Stoics believed that mindfulness, fully immersing yourself in the here and now, was key to living well. You don't need to be constantly distracted by things beyond your control. The present moment is where your power to act resides. When you let go of what has already passed and stop projecting endless worries into the future, you create space for peace and focus. To practice this, start noticing when your mind drifts. Gently bring yourself back by asking, what is happening right now? Ground yourself in your senses. Feel the air around you, notice your breath, or observe your surroundings. Life is not found in past regrets or future anxieties. It's happening right here, right now. By mastering the present, you reclaim control over your mind and unlock the ability to live fully and intentionally. That's where true peace lies. Congratulations, you've just unlocked some of the most transformative lessons from Stoic philosophy. The question is, what's next? Will these lessons stay as just good advice, or will you apply them to your life? The choice is yours. Remember, the Stoics didn't become wise overnight. They practiced these principles daily, knowing that growth comes from consistent small steps forward. Think back to the lessons we explored. How many times have you reacted without thinking, allowed emotions to take over, or wasted energy on things you couldn't control? It happens to all of us. But what if you could pause in those moments? What if you could respond instead of react? With calm, confidence, and clarity, imagine how your life could change. And here's the truth. You already have everything you need to make that change. You have control over your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. You don't need perfection, you just need progress. That's what Stoicism is all about, training your mind, step by step, to master yourself and your circumstances. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which lesson spoke to you the most? Was it the idea of focusing only on what you can control? Or maybe learning to let go of external validation hit home? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. I'm genuinely curious to see what resonates with you the most. Your experiences and insights could inspire someone else reading this. And hey, if you found value in this, why not share it with someone who needs a mental reset? We're building a community here, a place for thoughtful conversations about philosophy, self-improvement, and resilience. By liking this video, you help us reach more people who could benefit from these ideas. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got more practical wisdom lined up to help you live with intention, clarity, and strength. Life is unpredictable, but with these tools, you'll be ready for whatever comes your way. So, what lesson are you going to apply starting today? Let me know below. I can't wait to hear your response. Stay strong, stay mindful, and let's keep growing together.